Hello everyone. Let me adjust something here. Okay. Now, we are doing more Layton Brothers Mystery Room. I did pay for 2 cases, 2 case packs, which cost me $5. I have played the ones that we did last stream. I have played those before. These ones I have not. Alright. Twitch is working now. If anybody's on Twitch, it is working now. I'm going to turn this down because my microphone's picking it up. Okay. So, I have not done these cases before yet. So, bear with me on these ones. Yep, I'm going in blind. But this mobile game is not really that difficult, so we're gonna go in this one. So we are in case 3 now. Just love it when I have the entire game now. So it's interesting that we are now at a 2-star difficulty. You here, Al? Are we expecting you? Oh, I must be in the wrong room. Lawson, what are you doing here? There you are, Al. Who's this young lady then? I'm Lucy Baker. I'm the prostitute research assistant. You two haven't met before, have you? This is Justin Lawson. He's a detective with the Serious Crime Squad. Sorry, but the introductions will have to wait. Have you heard about the actress in the on-stage murder case? I have. I saw it on the Jeremy Summer Show. Some loopy fan announced they were going to kill the lass on stage. That's the press's take on it, is it? They've got it wrong. Yes, it's much more straightforward than that. A stagehand was found in the wings holding the gun. So you have your man then? Unfortunately not. Someone punched the young bloke and knocked him out cold, you see. What? The murderer got a thumping? Interesting. This sounds like a case for the mystery room. We'll look into it. I had a feeling you'd want to take it on. I've already sent the file over. Good luck with it. Must have been the highest profile case the Prof and I ever worked on. The incident took place in a famous West End theater. A popular actress was shot on stage in front of a full house. There were 3 suspects. One of them were a famous actor, who were the hottest gossip in town and the Jeremy Summer Show covered every day. But the truth behind the case that were the real shocker. No one could have guessed who the real culprit were. No one. Let's go over the case. The incident took place during a play in which a high-profile actor and actress were starring. The victim was Gloria Blaze, the actress playing the part of the heroine. Her co-star was the popular performer Roscoe Strapping. Turns out the pair were also engaged to be married in real life. At the performance's climax the other day, the hero, played by Strapping, shoots his unfaithful wife, played by Blaze. As the shot goes off, Blaze falls to the floor in a pool of blood. All this was exactly as scripted. Despairing of his actions, the hero leaves the room. As he exits the stage, Strapping collides with a supporting actress by the name of Destiny Knox. Oh, I bet she were having a case of the jitters before her big entrance. Immediately after that, the lights went out. In the pitch black, Blaze cries out for help. As it dawns on the audience that this is not part of the play, another shot rings out through the darkness. No! The stage director hurriedly brings the lights back up, but Blaze is still where she lay, utterly motionless. Knox runs over to her and discovers that she's dead. Shot in the dark, eh? Now we have to turn our attention to another involved party, a stagehand by the name of Bray Clegg. He was found lying unconscious in the wings, with the murder weapon in his hand. By Ekprof? There's not more incriminating than that, surely. Far from conclusive proof that he's the killer. So that's information being kept from the press. Anyway, Clegg claims he was hit by someone while the lights were out. Sounds fishy to me. Perhaps he definitely lost consciousness. Perhaps. But he definitely lost consciousness for a while. That is beyond dispute. So let's consider who the culprit could be. We can start with the stagehand, Bray Clegg. He was found lying unconscious in the wings with the gun that was used in the shooting in his hand. However, he claimed someone knocked him unconscious and planted the weapon on him. Going off the evidence we have, he got to be our #1 suspect, eh? Our next suspect is the play's leading actor, Roscoe Strapping. He exited the stage just before the theater and plunged into darkness. He claims to have been alone in his dressing room when he heard the shot. I wonder. And finally, we have the supporting actress, a Ms. Destiny Knox. She was on stage with the victim when the lights went out. She was also the closest person to the victim when the lights came on again. The one who discovered the body. So those are our 3 suspects. Based on the information, Lucy, who do you think did it? What's your hunch? After you've told me that, we'll start with the actual detective work. It's curtains for whoever did this, Prof. You mark my words. Alright, who's the criminal? Just go with your gut feeling. Okay. So, shall we investigate the scene? Alright. I'll give you 5 minutes this time. No problem, Prof. Okay. Replica gun. Okay. No, I need this. this way. That door. I'm not bothering reading all this stuff. Only because I only have a certain amount of time to look for this stuff. Bloody note, huh? This is why you check every nook and cranny. Standard lamp. Picture. Bullet hole. That's interesting. Ladder. Oil stains. That's interesting. Okay. Leg. All right. Who do you think the killer is? All right. I'm going to go with Roscoe Strapping. And one of the reasons why I'm choosing Roscoe Strapping is because she was shot within 1 to 3 inches away. Hold on. Let's see here. Corpse. 1 to 3 meters away. So, whoever shot her was fairly close. Well, from where I'm standing, I'd say Strapping did it. Excellent, I agree. Ha, I knew it. Yes, I'd say it's 92.9% certain that he is the culprit. Well, we best call the man in and have him paid to your doubts about the other 7.1% then. Exactly what I was hoping to do. But I'm not sure he'll come. Let's take a moment to consider what we already know about Strapping. I know something. Roscoe Strapping, stud of the stage, engaged to be married, but engaged in you-know-what with other lass at the same time. At least, that's what they said on it, Jeremy Summer Show. So our suspect is something of a cad. The worst kind of man and the enemy of all women. That's a little bit of a woke statement. But that's not what we should be focusing on here. There's something else that interests me. Oh, what's that? He's an actor. And actors are masters of deception. They make fantasy appear as reality, and trapping's one of the best. Could be a tough nut to crack then, eh, Prof? Yep, we got company. Who are you? Do excuse the unannounced entrance. Oh, Roscoe's trapping! Well, what a bill. An unexpected pleasure, I must say. Are you a fan, Precious? You wish. I'm a research assistant here in the mystery room. DC Baker to you. This is the mystery room? The very place I've been looking for. It must be Roscoe's trapping. The one and only. My fame and talent precedes me, I see. Good. And you are? I work here in the mystery room with Detective Constable Baker. Inspector Layton's the name. Might I ask why you're here? Oh, I heard there was a team attempting to unravel the gruesome truth about my dear Gloria's chilling end. So I came to solve the mystery. Huh? Well, that would be a great help. Please enlighten us. Alright. So, without further ado, I present to you the truth. The identity of the black-hearted miscreant responsible for my late wife to be demise. It was Bray Clegg, the stagehand. Well, you're quite the detective, aren't you, Mr. Trapping? It's an elementary case of deduction, my dear. Firstly, he was crushed by unrequited love. And secondly, the prize simpleton was found holding the murder weapon. Simply following these two lines of investigation leads you directly to the unequivocal truth. That my dear Gloria shuffled off this mortal coil when Bray Clegg put a bullet through her chest. And I see you're fairly fixed on your line of inquiry. Aren't you going to set this upstart straight, Prof? On the contrary, I think Mr. Trapping has some very compelling theories. So, let the investigation begin. He's still Prof's line. Investigating the wound means checking out the body, right? Would you like a strong man to escort you? Yeah, I'll be just fine, thank you very much. Start investigating. So we're going to look at the body here. Okay, we're going to look at the corpse. A single shot to the heart from between 1 and 3 meters away resulting in death. Exactly, from the barrel of the very revolver found in Clegg's guilty hand. I'll see that dastard rot in hell. Please, try to remain calm. Let's continue with our investigation, shall we? Of course, the bullet passed straight through the victim's body. We should be able to find it somewhere on the scene. I hear you, Prof. We're looking for a bullet hole now. Okay. Alright, I know where the bullet hole is, which is right here. This is it, Prof! Okay, so from the relative positions of this hole and the corpse, we can deduce where the shot originated. I'll figure it out in a jiffy. Not so fast! We already know that Gloria's life was taken by a bullet. Any further investigation about that is a complete waste of time, surely. And we're just trying to be thorough. It won't take a moment. Well, if you will waste precious minutes while that miscreant roams free, just get on with it quickly. Alright, locate where the shot came from. so right there is the bullet. Okay, so which means the shot would have had to have come from here. Well, as far as I can tell, it put the shooter about here. That was my position on the stage. Exactly! Sorry, Angel Face, but you're reading the wrong lines. Think again. What's your reasoning, Lucy? What proves this location which the killer shot? The body and bullet hole placing. That's within the 1 to 3 meters distance from the body. Yes, it's indeed likely the shot originated here. Aye, this is the spot, aye. The gun must have been fired from right here. What an extraordinary coincidence, ladies and gents. 1 in a million. The very spot I occupied on stage. Of course, it's of no relevance whatsoever. As I expected, this has all been an utter waste of time. On the contrary, this is extremely relevant information. Pardon me? When the shot was heard, it was pitch black on stage. Shooting the victim dead with a single bullet in total darkness is bordering on the impossible. Bordering on perhaps, yet alack, my glorious life was taken with one such miserable slug. Whatever you may say now, nothing can bring my darling back. Oh fate, you are a cruel mistress indeed. Not very true. Nothing will bring Miss Blaze back to life, but the final curtain has already fallen. There's nothing more to say. Okay. Then we better look for the gun that Clegg used, eh? An excellent idea. And while you do that, I'll set about finding the way to your heart. What? So, let's find the murder weapon. I've got it, the murder weapon. This is the gun, alright? Brava! Brains and beauty. What am I gonna do with it? Give over. I'm not special. The barrel of this very gun carries a bullet that pierced my beloved's heart and stole her from me. When you examine the evidence, that is exactly what you shall find. So now you must ask yourself, what scoundrel was holding the gun? What rogue was holding the gun? Well, would be whoever was standing. Alright, so hey gameplay boy. What rogue was holding the gun? Here he is. Here's Clegg. He's been knocked out while he's still holding the gun. Excellent work, Angel Face. What fantastic eyes you have. Perhaps you'd like to come and work for me as my personal assistant. No, thank past. Still, at least now we have a conclusive proof that Clegg was in possession of the murder weapon. Surely that's more than enough evidence to charge the rapscallion. Let's not forget one rather crucial thing. Clegg was struck repeatedly in the back of his head. Obviously the boy did that to himself. Let's assume for a moment that Clegg is guilty, and that he knocked himself out to avoid suspicion. If that were true, it would be very strange indeed. Do you see why, Lucy? What about her arm still holding the gun? Yeah, he was hit multiple times. No. Well, wouldn't it be a bit odd that he were hit so many times? He would study. Angel simply study. Yep, I'm not feeling so sure of myself now that you've started waxing liar. Good, because there's no reason to assume a single blow would have knocked him out. What are you talking about? However many times he hit himself is quite clearly self-inflicted. It's very hard to believe that's true. There's something far more obvious belaying any attempt to look innocent. Lucy, if you were the murderer, what would you do to avert suspicion away from you? Well, he's still holding the gun. Well, if I were trying to make it look like I hadn't done it, I'd have chucked that gun away from the start. Exactly. Whatever plot you came up with to divert suspicion from you, it would not involve holding the gun. No, however you look at it, Clegg would have disposed of the gun before knocking himself out. He makes such assumptions without knowing the man. I tell you, he is a fool, a complete imbecile. That's why he didn't have the brains to figure out he should dispose of the gun. It's really quite obvious. I see. Well, there's nothing more we can say on that matter then. Unfortunately not. The man is witless, and that's all there is to it. Alright. Well, that is exactly what happened. Well, I think that settles it. Clegg is the killer. There can be no doubt. What planet have you been on all this time, eh? Let's recap. The victim, Blurred Blaze, was killed by a single bullet. And the person found holding the gun was none other than Clegg. However, Clegg was hit by someone and knocked unconscious. If he's been trying to make it look like he hadn't done it, he'd never have kept a hold of the gun. Boy, he's a complete clot. He hasn't the brains to work that out. The other thing we know for certain is where Miss Blaze was shot from. That's where you were standing on stage during the performance, Mr. Strapping. Yes, by cruel twist of fate, my beloved seems to have been shot from the very spot where I stood. The problem is in the timing. To shoot somebody from anything other than point-blank range in total darkness is bordering on the impossible. That was a fluke. This is completely irrelevant. However, never mind all that. Oh, I just remember something of vital importance. Oh, what's that then, out of the blue? The death threat. There was a threatening note, was there not? Eh? With that additional evidence, you will have no choice but to acknowledge Clegg must be the killer. It seems we have some more investigating to do. Indeed you do. Find the death threat. Now picture the scene. Clegg falls in love with the beautiful Gloria, but his passion is resolutely rejected. Consumed by self-pity and rage, he sends a death threat to the poor defenseless flower. So where's this death threat now then, eh? Somewhere at the scene of the crime, naturally. One of the detectives who came to the theater told me. Quite sure it's there. But you haven't actually seen it with your own eyes out. I don't need to see it. No. To know what artless piffle Clegg no doubt came up with. I'll go and find it. Find the note that contains the incriminating death threat. Yeah, let's go. But I know what's happening. Here, Prof, I reckon this must be the death threat, don't you? Excellent work, Lucy. That's for the Prof to decide, Mr. Trapping, not you. You'll pay for betraying me, I see. Isn't it a bit funny that it says that betraying, I mean? It makes it sound like Clegg and Blaze had a fling or something. Utter tosh. Glory only had eyes for me. In that case, it seems probable that Mr. Clegg was not the author of the note. That's one possible explanation, yes. So, who heard that Miss Blaze had done the dirty on then, eh? Of course, it's so obvious the killer must have been a member of the audience. Gloria had countless fanatical followers. Picture the scene, the fan consumed with jealousy over Gloria's engagement to me. Oh, my poor beloved. He's talking about parasocialism. How you shook like a little lamb. And I heard you open one of your case's letters. The scrap of paper we've been musing over is quite obviously a death threat from this unhinged fan. By act, Prof. If we have to pull in everyone from the audience for questioning, we'll be here all year. Yep, that's the phone. Excuse me a moment. So tell me, are you two old? I beg your pardon? You must be, surely. A true stallion would be sure to get a little frisky, cooped up here with such a fine young filly. If I were her, I should take it as an insult to my femininity that nothing has happened. Eh? Oh, you're a red-blooded male, aren't you? Mr. Trapping, that were your manager on the phone. There's a famous chap who wants words with you at your office. Good gracious, is that the time? Hey, Bunny. Bunny Gaming Raid. Welcome. Must be that bore of a 2 billion pound film, I suppose, to be acting in. 2 billion? Naturally, they wanted me as the headliner. What was it now? Pirate film, I think? Pirates of the Caribbean? Are they really comparing this guy to Johnny Depp? Because he acts nothing like Johnny Depp. Well, it sounds very important. You won't want to keep them waiting, I imagine. Well, who the murderer is, I shall take this opportunity to make my exit. Alright, ta-ta then. We'll be seeing you. I'm looking forward to it already, precious. It's DC Baker to you. Adieu. Alright, that man gets right up my nose. Do you really think he did it? Without a shadow of a doubt. We still have a number of riddles to solve, but he's a very intelligent adversary. Oh, aye. He doesn't seem that sharp to me. He very carefully and deliberately diverts the conversation away from the most crucial point. The most crucial point? What's that then? Whether Blaze was actually shot in the dark or not. Are you saying that Blaze weren't shot when it all went dark? Do you recall where it concluded the shots was fired from? Aye, from where Strapping had been standing on stage, weren't it? Yes, and to hit Blaze from that distance with a single shot in the dark would be impossible. But we know that's where she were done and in from, don't we? So, we do. There's no disputing where the shot was fired from. But then the shot was fired. That's a detail about which we still have some room for maneuver. What do you mean, when it were fired? I mean, if only it hadn't been pitch black, Blaze would have been an easy shot from that location. Do you see? So now, when do you think the shot was fired that killed Blaze? Well, Bunny did say it was a midstream raid. I'm going to say during the performance. By heck, Prof? Not during the performance? Exactly. We know where the shooter was standing, and we know there was the noise of a gunshot. When you consider those two facts together, there was only one logical conclusion. The gun used in the final scene of the play were the real gun. Correct. Unbelievable. We can be almost certain that's the truth of the matter. It is just a theory at this stage. We need to find some evidence that Blaze was actually shot while the performance was underway. I hear you, Prof. I'm on it. Alright, we're going to do this. I found a remote control, Prof! Ah, that must have been used to detonate the squib and burst Blaze's bladder of fake blood. Blaze wouldn't have been the one to push the button, wouldn't she? So how come it were chucked away here in the bin? Yes. What does that tell us? Do you think, Lucy? Alright. Strapping threw it away. No? Why would Strapping have thrown the remote away? To stop Blaze pressing the button with it. That wouldn't have helped him in any way, though, would it? More so than showing us that someone threw it away, the switch being here shows us something didn't happen. Something that didn't happen, you say? So it wasn't used. If the remote's here in the bin, then chances are Blaze never pushed the button at all. There you have it. Despite failing to trigger the squib, blood poured from Blaze's wound during the performance, because she were actually shot with a real gun. And we have the entire audience as witnesses. That's hard evidence then, isn't it, Prof? Yes, well done. Let's hand the remote over to forensics, have them confirm the button was never pressed. I'll go and ask them right this minute. I've been and asked them. I've been thinking while I was gone. Why would you want to kill someone in front of all the witnesses, That, Lucy, is the biggest mystery of this case. If his aim had been even slightly off, he'd have given himself away in an instant. It's hard to see what was driving him on this way. Well, there's no point worrying about what we don't yet know. Let's continue our investigation based on what we do know. Blaze was shot with a real gun in the final scene of the performance. Now we've established that the events that followed in the darkness start to fall into place. Oh, hi. There's plenty of questions need answering now. Firstly, Blaze's scream. And secondly, the gunshot that rang out through the darkness. Let's get to the bottom of those two curiosities. So if Blaze were dead as a doornail already before it went dark, she'd have had a hard job screaming, eh? The most obvious explanation is that it was someone else who screamed. So Lucy, who do you think actually let out the scream in the darkness? That would be her. Well, if it weren't Blaze who screamed, the only other possibility is that Knox lass. Quite. Neither Strapping nor Clegg could have convincingly imitated a woman's scream. That's not quite the whole story. We already have evidence to suggest that Strapping told Knox to scream. You? Yes. Well, they're in the suspect statements. Which statement tells us when Strapping most probably told Knox to scream. No? Okay. That's not the statement I had in mind. There's one statement in there that proves Strapping had the perfect opportunity to tell Knox to scream. So that would be this one. Yep, Mr. Strapping bumped into Destiny. That sounds dead fishy, does. Agreed. Knocking her over would have given her ample time to tell her what he wanted her to do. What, so Knox was an accomplice then? Not exactly. If she were really his accomplice, they would have plotted the whole thing together from the start. Why didn't they? That's a bit odd, isn't it? It seems there's yet more to this case than meets the eye. Oh, the shot in the dark. Let's get this straight. If Blaze were killed during the performance, who were the shot that everyone heard when the lights went out? My guess is that it was fired by Strapping as part of the whole deception. There's sure to be evidence on the scene somewhere that proves he fired a second shot. I'd best get looking then. this there? Fortunately not. Look for something else. This is what he used. Strapping must have used this replica gun, no? But that's it. Let's see, the prop gun was found behind the sack. He would have had to work his way around to knock out Clegg from here if you're right. Is there any evidence you can find that would support that idea, Lucy? Yes, so that this goes back to this. These oil stains are a bit telling, aren't they? Ah, yes. That must be from the oil used to lubricate the replica gun. He must have been running his hand along the back of the set here to feel his way in the dark. Without a doubt. That's how Strapping worked his way over to where Clegg was. He groped around in the dark until he located him, then hit him and knocked him out. Nasty stuff. This shows us the person who had the replica gun passed this way. In other words, it's proof that Strapping, or it's proof that Strapping crossed behind the back of the stage in the dark. We're getting closer, Prof. Okay. We've homed in on the truth, it seems. And prove that Strapping's the killer. Oh, that's the phone. I'll get it. It were forensics. They said the remote switch weren't pressed, just as we thought. That clinches it. Shall I call Strapping in? There's still something that's troubling me a little, but I'm sure we've got enough. Yes, call him in. Hey, I can't tell you how much I've been waiting for this. I wasn't expecting you'd want to see me quite so soon. Don't get the wrong idea, Mr. Strapping. Come now, don't be bashful. I like a woman who takes the bit between the teeth. I'm telling you, this is strictly business. Mr. Strapping, if I may. You've managed to identify the criminal responsible for murdering your fiancé. I knew, didn't I tell you it was someone from the audience, eh? Tell me the wretch's name. The killer, Mr. Strapping, was you. Oh, precious, if you want to get my attention, there are much more effective ways, you know. No, Mr. Strapping, Lucy's quite serious. You killed Miss Blaze. What a disappointment. You really are an heartless pair. I've already laid it out for you on a platter. The killer was hiding in the audience. He or she made their way into the stage in the darkness and pulled the trigger. With one faithful bullet, my darling's heart was pierced and our love rent asunder. Sorry, but that doesn't stack up. It'd be almost impossible to have killed her with a single shot, and here's why. When the gunshot was heard, the stage were in total darkness. How could anyone have taken aim when they couldn't even see what to aim at? Oh yes, I remember you suggesting that idea before. In which case, surely the accusation of my own guilt means with a sticky end, no? On the contrary. It is precisely the fact that Miss Blaze was killed with a single bullet that incriminates you, Mr. Trapping. I'm quite sure I don't follow. An explanation, sir, if you please. Why was Trapping the only possible culprit? Ms. Blaze weren't killed during the blackout at all, were she? No, her life ended a few moments earlier. On stage during the finale of the show in front of a full house. What a fantastical idea. Your imagination's wasted on this job, Preston. You should hand in your notice and become a dramatist. There's not imagined about it. Pray tell, how do you explain the blood-curdling scream that pierced the darkness? Every member of the audience in the full house of which you speak heard a woman scream. I'd be willing to bet it were Miss Knox that screamed. What riot? You're clutching at straws now. Everyone actually there said it was Gloria who screamed. That's just because when the lights came back up, they saw Miss Blaze lying dead on stage. Faced with a scene like that, who would assume that there were the last that just screamed? Just before the lights went out, you bumped into Miss Knox. It's in Mr. Clegg's statement. That's when you told her you weren't going to need her to scream once you'd cut the lights. You're quite deluded. This is all utter fabrication. We're not deluded at all. You know it's the truth. Stop trying to deny it. I have absolutely no recollection of anything you're saying. Your so-called evidence is all circumstantial. Do you actually have any conclusive proof at all? I haven't seen a shred of hard evidence. Oh, we've got proof all right. How about this for starters? That the squib remote? Aye. Which should have been carried by Miss Blazes for her to push the button in time with you firing the blank. But, Mr. Stopping, the button were never pressed. So it's a bit hard to explain where all that blood came from in the final scene, eh? No, that can't! There's only one explanation for it that makes any sense. I think you know what that is, don't you, Mr. Trapping? She was bleeding because you shot her with a real gun. Really, Gloria just forgot to take the remote control with her that time. There's no way out of this, Mr. Trapping. You can't explain it away. You shot her, no question. Nonsense. So much for a 2-star case. Encore! You what? Ah, wow, he's back. before with your barrage of illogical claptrap, but now I've recovered my poise. I'm not guilty, I was framed. Clegg was behind the whole thing. No much care for your constant ducking and diving, Mr. Trapping. I had no idea. When I pulled the trigger, I thought it was the replica gun. But oh, what a cruel error. I only realized my mistake after the fatal deed was done. It was the recoil that alerted me to the truth. I've had just about enough of your lies. You can't trick us anymore. Oh, well, my dear Lucy, he's telling the truth now. Oh, crikey, not again! Someone very clearly, very carefully arranged for a real gun that looked exactly like the replica to be there at the scene. Yes, that part of all this was very much a premeditated crime. But everything that followed, that wasn't driven by love, nor by heartache, nor by insanity. No, what followed was nothing more than an ad-libbed scramble to hide the truth. Come on, Prof. You're not saying there was someone else involved that switched the guns over? Oh yes, there was someone else involved. The mastermind behind this whole charade. Just the sort of killer I like. You're getting rather carried away in your soliloquy. But despite your rather crazed demeanor, I believe you got to the truth, Inspector. Indeed, the root of all this evil is Clegg. He's the one who switched the guns. After all, the man was head over heels in love with Gloria. Bit of a funny way to show it, isn't it? Why then, you ask, did he feel the need to kill Gloria in front of a theater full of onlookers? The answer, of course, is staring you all in the face. Hey, enough of this high and mighty know-it-all attitude, eh? You're the guilty one, don't forget. Guilty, moi? Au contraire. I'm a victim in all of this. Listen to you two yapping like dogs. Am I going to have to cut out your tongues to get you to shut up? There's really no need for violence, Inspector. Aye, keep your hair on, Prof. So strap it. Yes, what is it, sir? You pulled the trigger of what you thought was the replica's gun. You tried to pull it right through Miss Blaze's heart. Then, to avert suspicion, you cut the lights and had not screamed if you fired off the blank. Just in short, you fumbled your way over to Clegg, knocked him out, and put the gun in his hand. Isn't that how it happened? To the letter, bravo, Inspector! A brilliant deduction! You're admitting it now? I didn't think you'd fold that easily. So you're a coward as well as a crook. What are you talking about? I did it for justice. Direct your scorn at Clegg. He switched the guns. He is the true criminal. Clegg switched the gun. Don't make me laugh. Remember Blaze's dead body? That mouse of a man doesn't have the flair for such an inspired death. Inspired death, eh? Oh yes, inspired and beautiful. The final scene. The audience on the edges of their seats. Then, pow! Shot through the heart. Blood spilling everywhere. The stage awash with crimson glory. Magnificent. Is this fellow quite alright? What are you talking about? There's nothing magnificent about murder, Prof. You don't see? No, I do not. And I don't much want to. Not the way you're seeing things right now, anyhow. Haha. At least you're fun. Think, Lucy. Who is the mastermind behind this crime? And what is the evidence that proves it? You've both seen the evidence already. Couldn't be more plain. Who masterminded the whole thing and switched the gun? Which piece of evidence reveals the true mastermind behind the case? It were Gloria Blaze. She were the mastermind behind the whole thing. And it's the remote control that proves it. You've really lost the plot now, Precious. Gloria's the victim of this terrible crime, not the perpetrator. Lucy's absolutely right. Thank goodness you're back, Prof. Sorry if I alarmed you. Yes, the remote control we found discarded in the rubbish bin. I believe Miss Blaze threw it away on purpose. What a ludicrous suggestion! Why on earth would she do such a thing? Because Miss Blaze had planned all of this right from the start. She was responsible for switching the gun. She knew she was going to be shot dead that day. So she had no use for the remote control. I don't understand. Why would Gloria orchestrate her own murder, for goodness sake? Yes. What was going through Ms. Blaze's mind to make her take such extreme measures? The answer to that is written in a message that you have already seen with your own eyes. What message? The message that Miss Blaze wrote to you and left for you to find. Lucy, would you care to explain? You'll pay for betraying. That's what Miss Blaze wrote. She meant the message for you. Is it starting to make sense to you? Her. But she wouldn't have killed herself like this because of a silly affair. You'd have to be out of your mind. I think it's fair to say Miss Blaze was not of sound mind. Driven to madness as she was, Mr. Strapping by you. Al, are you here? Oh, hello, Detective Lawson. Have you got some new info for us? Yes, I have. The lads have found a typewriter in Blaze's room identical to the one you used to type the note you found. And they've proven it was Blaze who ordered the gun, too. That's the proof we needed. Lovely job. Who'd have guessed the victim was the mastermind behind the whole thing? I'm amazed you figured it out. So tell me, exactly who did figure it out? What do you mean? The Prof and me, of course. Who else? That's what I'm asking you. Don't follow. Sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm going to have to leave. Oh? It's not like you to head off so early, Prof. Everything alright? Yes, perfectly. There's just a program I'd like to see on the television. So I'll see you tomorrow. Okie dokie, see you later. Bye, Al. Nice work. I bet the Prof's jiggered after all that excitement. Excitement? What do you mean? I'll tell you what I mean. When he starts getting on a roll with his questions and that, he changes. It's ever so sudden when it happens. I see. And how does he change exactly? Like you wouldn't believe. For starters, his hair goes all wild and disheveled. It hangs down in front of his eyes. It's that creepy. It is. Makes him look evil, it does. I see. Anything other than his hair that changes about him? Oh, aye. It's his whole personality. That's the worst bit about it. It's the way he says stuff, I suppose. He gets all high and mighty and Marty and just plain scary if you're told. I mean, do you know what he said to me and the fellow that were here before when we were arguing? No, what? He said we were yapping like dogs and he had to cut out our tongues. And he were being serious. You can't blame the man for having a sense of humor. It weren't funny. He's so intense. I'm telling you, it's dead frightening. Must be very difficult. Aye, well, that dark side of his is starting to get up my nose. He's this far away from a Lucy landing. Well, try not to lose your patience. I'm trying hard. By the way, Al doesn't ever come out with any unfamiliar names when he's like that, does he? Eh? You know, he doesn't start talking about people or places that have nothing to do with the case. Oh, I can't say he does. I'll tell you something he did say, though. He said death were inspired and beautiful. Really? Why are you so interested anyway? Oh, no reason really. It's just, well, if he does mention any strange names while he's like that, be sure to let me know. On the quiet, okay? On the quiet? Yes. It'd be better for Al that way. How come? It just would, trust me. Well, okay. If you say so. Just make sure he doesn't find out you're reporting to me. So that case is done. Alright, on to case 4. Obviously that case wasn't exactly that hard. Mind if I barge in on ya? Hello, Dustin. Is it that time already? Nah, I ain't come to do the cleaning just yet. I got a funny story you might be interested in. That's all. Oh, what's that then? The walking corpse, I call it. You believe in that sort of thing? Don't be daft, A corpse is a corpse. Dead as a doornail, no better at walking. You reckon? Well, maybe it grows. And once more, it was possessed, being controlled by a demon. Intriguing indeed, Dustin. Tell us more. Aye, you've got me hooked on this tale now. Come on, let's hear it. Hold on. Thought you might say that. Got the whole thing written down here in this file. I've no doubt you two will figure out what's what with it. Don't you worry, Dustin. Every puzzle has an answer, they say. And the prof always finds it. Yes. But he's not the one that said it. Herschel Layton's the one that said it. Good to hear. If you can help me, bro, out while you're at it, that'd be done. Your brother Dustin? Your brother Dustin? How's he involved? A fascinating case. That's how the prof described it. But fascinating weren't the word, more like plain frightening. They were deep in South America jungle in a tiny cliff top hut. The victim were an archaeologist who had an axe planted in his brow. There were 4 suspects, well, 4 human ones and someone else. Nearby villagers were saying it were the work of a demon. But demons don't exist. I was sure of that. Once we'd finished working on this case, though, I were a bit wiser. Demons do exist. Oh, aye. I see. Dustin did a good job of talking us into this one, didn't he? What do you mean? Let me explain the case a bit. A small group of archaeologists were carrying out a dig at an ancient site in the South American jungle. The day after they commenced work, the body of the group's leader, a Dr. Archie Olagi, was discovered. Murder, is it? Well, this is what we know. Olagi and his crew had made what was thought to be a very significant discovery, a curious stone idol. Eh, what a creepy little chap. Back at their hotel, the team asked the proprietor if he had a safe place where they could store their finds. He recommended a small hut at the top of a nearby cliff. Oh, aye. Cliff tops provide natural defenses, don't they? I remember that from second-year geography. That evening, a local who'd been helping out on the dig presented the team with some homemade liquor. Keen to celebrate their great find, Olagi and another member of the crew started drinking. It was the middle of the night that things started to go wrong. The phone rang at the front desk of the hotel with a call from the hut. It was Olagi on the line screaming, "It's a demon. It's going to kill me, help." The proprietor rushed over to the hut. The door was locked. Apparently it's a special lock that has only one key, which is impossible to duplicate. The proprietor, a man by the name of Micah Sasuka, had no choice but to break the door down. Hey, he must be a burly fellow then. Yes, but the scene that confronted him inside the hut would have made even the toughest of men wince. Well, what were in there, Prof? Olaji's dead body. with the axe that killed him still lodged in his skull. Nasty. An even more unbelievable turn of events followed. Olaji's lifeless corpse got up and lunged to attack. Give over! There were two witnesses despite the apparent impossibility of the incident. Hey? I got chills running down my spine now. The ensuing investigation revealed another interesting fact. The stone idol the team had found on the dig had completely vanished from the scene. Apparently it was possessed by a demon. Come on, Prof, you don't really believe it were the work of a demon, do you? That's what was rumored to be the case among the locals in the area. Don't you think maybe we should leave well alone in this case, Prof? We can't. The local police are detaining one of the archaeologists who was asleep outside the hut. There you go, you see. It were no demon, it were a human, I knew it. Well, that archaeologist is Dustin's brother. Hey, Sakura. Hey? What? Our Dustin? Who dropped off all them papers before? Yes, our Dustin, the cleaner. It looks like the only way to help his brother is to identify the true culprit. In that case, let's get stuck in. My thoughts exactly. So let's consider the possibilities. There are 4 suspects. The first, as we've already said, is Dustin's brother Doug Scowers. On the night of the murder, he and Olaji were drinking together alone. Unfortunately, they got drunk, and now Scowers can't remember what happened. If he weren't Dustin's brother, I'd be more than a little suspicious of that. Well, Lucy, he's still a suspect. We can't rule out the possibility that he's guilty. The next suspect is the owner of the hotel, Micah Sakasa. Sasukasa. Trying to figure out how to pronounce his name. Oh, aye. He's the fellow that recommended they use the hut in the first place, eh? Then we have a local by the name of Chico Caretta, who lives in a village near the site of the dig. He was working with a team as their guide. He's also the person who gave the liquor to Olaji and Scowers. That'd be a bit fishy. Finally, there's Mariana Atista, a young woman who works at Suzukasa's hotel. She's the one who heard Olaji's dying screams over the phone. The last one looked much like a murder, I must say. And that's all our suspects. There are a number of very peculiar things about this case. But the biggest mystery is how the murder took place. Aye, because when Sazukasa got to the hut, the door was still locked shut from the inside, weren't it? Yes, the only window in the hut is barred, making it impossible for anyone to get in or out of that way. So where did the killer disappear to then? Where indeed? Those are all the details we have so far. With so little information to go on, I'm sure you'll find it hard to guess who the culprit is. But still, what's your gut feeling, Lucy? Always start with your gut feeling, eh, Prof? Absolutely. Right, well, I can't say this case doesn't give me the willies, but I'll give it my best bash. Okay, let's go ahead and investigate the crime scene. Right, let's see what we can deduce. Do you think you'll be able to look around enough in 5 minutes? Aye, no trouble, Prof. 5 minutes is kind of too much. Alright. Then we're gonna chopping block. That must be just it then. Crate C. Crate D. What's that? Hinges are kind of a weird evidence, but they might tell us something now. Leg scours. And we're screwed. This is why you look at everything. Okay. Bloodstain. Local liquor. Well, looks like I found everything that is to be found. Whose behavior do you find most suspicious then, Lucy? Well, as far as I can make out, the killer must have been that Coretta lad. Very good, Lucy. We're in complete agreement. I knew I were on the right fellow. Yes, let's see. 95.1% sure. I'd very much like to interview Mr. Coretta in person. I wonder where we can find him. It might take us a while to track him down. What with him living in the middle of the jungle, eh? I'll just bob out and see what I can do, alright? Hey, Prof, we're dead lucky. Coretta's right here in town. It just so happens he's overdoing a spot of sightseeing. Uncannily convenient, but still. Let's not waste a chance to call him in then. Already done, he's on the way right now. Good. Then let's quickly go over what we know about the man before he arrives. Well, he's an expert on the ancient site and speaks some English, so he were a good choice as the guide. Yes, it seems English speakers are in short supply in the village where he comes from. Eh? Did you know this, Prof? Looks like Coretta and that Edista lass are engaged to be married. They make a champion couple, they do. Yes, they seem like a good match. Shame he's our prime suspect, eh? And here he is, look. Right, let's get to the truth. Hello, you must be Mr. Chico Coretta, are you? Hola, you call me Chico. I'm Alfendi Layton. I'm an analytical investigator. Feel free to call me Al if that's easier for you. And I'm Lucy. I'm the process assistant. It's nice to meet you, Al and Lucy. So I hear you've come over to do some sightseeing. Mariana, she felt it to me that I come here. It is very nice. Well, we're very sorry to call you in like this and mess up your holiday. It is no problem. Yep, what's with the mask? My happy face. Right. It makes him sound different and all with that thing on. Hey, amigos, you want a gift? I buy these cookies just before. It's for you. Oh, thank you very much. Very kind of you. Isn't this for mashing? It's tea, not cookies. See, it's right here on the box in massive letters. Oh no, I made a mistake. Not another mask. How many of them things have you got? Am I correct in thinking, Mr. Coretta, that while your spoken English is excellent, you can't read or write it? I speak. It's good, no? I understand you. You understand me, see? Aye, it's wonderful. There's naught to get excited about. So let's get down to business, shall we? We're investigating the murder of Dr. Archie Olaji, as I'm sure you're aware. We would very much appreciate your assistance in the matter, Mr. Coretta. Would you be willing to help? See, I help humans. Excellent. So let's start by examining the corpse and the murder weapon, shall we? Aye, the walking corpse. That's the real mystery here. And there's the hut door to consider, of course. Somehow the victim was killed in a room locked from within. It is not the work of humans. It's the work of the Diablo. Keep your scary ideas to yourself, please, Mr. Coretta. Fascinating theory. Oh, come on, Prof. Right. Well then, let's start our investigation of the scene. So where do you want to start? We're going to start with the murder weapon. I've explained all this already, but just in case I wasn't clear, I want you to find the murder weapon. See, of course you find the killing weapon first of all things. See. I know that. Okay, let's start the investigation. Let's start with this right here. Well, it's this axe here. That's your murder weapon. It's very easy to see, no? Indeed. After all, it's still lodged in the man's skull. Alright. Pardon me for stating the obvious. You know, I see this axe before somewhere. See, somewhere near the hut. Perhaps the killer picked up the axe from nearby. See if you can figure out where it might have come from, Lucy. The chopping block. What's an axe used for, eh? Splitting wood, of course. Yes, an axe wouldn't have been out of place here. See. Is here where the axe was before. I am many times cutting the wood while Mariana. She talking with me. So the killer must have grabbed the axe from here before heading into the hut, then, eh? See, like that. So would anybody have had access to this axe then? See, of course. Everyone working in this place must take their turns to cut up the wood. Doesn't tell us a fat lot, then, does it, eh? No, perhaps not. Okay, let's turn our attention to something else then. Alright, let's see the corpse. Now, let's examine the body. The body that moved. Even though it were dead, you could. It is the Diablo who killed this man. It's the Diablo who made the dead man walking. No, I still can't believe it. Let's see what our investigation uncovers. Come on, Lucy, examine the body. Okay. Corpse. Well, this is it, the walking corpse. Yes, a grim sight. The axe still lodged in his skull, and rather deeply at that. Cha! Is dead very quick this way, no? See, I think so. It's no laughing matter, Mr. Coretta. The question is, did the corpse really move or not? Is there any evidence to suggest that it did? Well, what proves that it moved? That would probably be the blood stain. Well, there's this blood stain here, look. It's like the body were dragged across the floor, or dragged itself. It's certainly hard to deny that the body did indeed move from this chair after death occurred. Now, we must ascertain whether it moved by itself or whether somebody moved it. Is the Diablo who moves the dead, Senor? The punishment of the gods. Dead folk can't move about. That'd be too frightening to contemplate. There's no point widely speculating about what happened. Let's simply continue our investigation. When the hotel proprietor and Ms. Edista came running to the hut, they found the door locked. Yet, when Mr. Sazakasa broke the door down and went inside, the killer was nowhere to be seen. How did he or she pull that one off then, eh? Well, maybe it passes through the walls. Or makes itself minusculo and squeezes through the bars of the window. Both rather far out ideas, thank you, Mr. Coretta. We're looking for something that's actually based in reality, I think. Is it Diablo, the killer? Well, he's not worried about that reality. Take the possibilities one by one. We'll start by examining the window. Shall we, Lucy? Okay. So, we're gonna start here. There's just the one window in the hut. But these aren't bars on it. No, there's no way someone could have gotten through here. But if you're Diablo and you'll make yourself like a minuscule stone figure, then it is possible, see? No, it was a human who committed this heinous crime. But I agree, he did have the devil in his heart. It's nuts. We must examine the door. Perhaps it's a trick that allows it to be opened without the key. Right you are, Prof. Let's have a look. It's a tough-looking door, this. There's something rather odd about this door. What is it? What's that, Prof? Never mind for now. It looks like the door was definitely locked. There can be no question of that. Could there have been a duplicate key, though? Yeah, very special lock. It's no possible to make the duplicate key. Senor Tsukasa, he is always telling us it is so. It's something he is very proud of. And that one and only key was found inside the hut. I think we'd best take a look at that key, don't you? Good idea, yes. Do you think you can find the key to the hut, Lucy? Leave it to me, Prof. Over here, Prof. I found it. The key to the hut. In the victim's pocket, was it? Very interesting. I don't suppose the killer could have got the key back in Olaju's pocket from outside after locking up. See, if the killer is Diablo, ja. What's up, Prof? Something caught my eye when we examined the door before. There's something peculiar about it. Peculiar? What? There's something about the hut door that's quite... There's something about the hut door that's quite different from other doors. See if you can spot it. Hey, Prof, there's a screw missing from one of the hinges here. Now, that's not the only peculiarity. The hinges themselves are unusual. That's what's been making it stand out to me. Really? What's funny about them? It's normal to fit the hinges on the inside of a door. Think about a normal house. If the hinges were fitted on the outside, it would cause problems, wouldn't it? You can see why, presumably. Someone on the outside of this door could have opened it by removing the hinges. Exactly. No matter how unusual the lock is, simply by removing the hinges, anyone could get inside with ease. So, what you're saying is, the hut wasn't necessarily the impenetrable fortress we've been led to believe it was. So we've cracked it. I don't realize it's something like this possible. Incredible. It's a little too soon for celebrations, I see. We need some evidence that the door really was removed in that way. Look for the missing screw. That will likely tell us something. No problem, Prof. Here's the screw, Prof. Hold on. My feet itches. Alright. So, it was around here as we suspected. Good work, Lucy. But it's rather more grimy than I'd expect, perhaps. Perhaps what? Never mind. Let's have forensics check it out for us. I'll get it over to them straight away. Good. We'll continue investigating the scene while we await the results. We're still no closer to figuring out how the corpse went walking, though, are we? No. And that tantalizing mystery would seem to be the key to this whole incident. It's proof that the Diablo is coming here for us. Give over. There's no such thing. So, we have gleaned some very important information. The hinges. I can't wait for forensics to get back to us with a report. I think you are wrong. Because it's the Diablo who makes this man dead. No, it weren't. It were a human that's done this, like you or I. Why don't we consider the motive of the crime while we're waiting for forensics to get back to us? The motive? Yes. There's a very obvious reason for this murder. Okay, let me figure it out then. Let's see. Now, the motive. There was a reason why Olaji was murdered. The crime had a clear motive. There's evidence here that points to it. That's what you're looking for. No, muchacha, is no the right answer. Even I know this. There's a good chance Olaji was murdered so the killer could get his hands on something. What was that again? This crate here is empty. The killer must have stolen whatever were inside. And what do you think was inside that crate? this? No, Lucy, there's some evidence that shows what was in the crates. That's what you're looking for. Okay, Prof, leave it to me. Let's see here. What is this? Oh, okay. Must not be the right one. It were the stone idol in here. That's why we're in the crate. In other words, Olaji was murdered so the killer could steal the stone idol. No, he's not right this. What do you say? The Diablo in the stone figure. It breaks out from this crate itself. And then it kills Signor Archie. Because the Signor, he trespasses in the ancient plate. For this, he is punished by the gods. That thing were made of stone. It couldn't move on its own, you chump. No, the stone Diablo, it kills the Signor. See, Signor Archie. His life is taken by the stone figure. Eh? There's no talking to some folk, is there? I was intending to wait until the report came back from forensics, but maybe we'll do things differently. I think it's time to demonstrate that the killer in this case was very definitely human. Over to you, Lucy. The perpetrator of this crime, who killed Olaji and stole this stone idol, could not have been a demon. No, the killer is human, but a human that possesses the heart of a demon. It's no possible. The killer can be human. It's making no sense. It's impossible. The Signor, he must be killed by the Diablo. Is the only way. The line's getting more and more worked up. Rossi's cracking. He's certainly determined to make us believe it was the work of a demon. It is not what I want you to believe. is what you must believe because it's the truth. The stone figure with the Diablo inside it breaks out from his wooden box. It kills Senor Archie and escapes through the window. Even Senor Archie says it's a Diablo. No? He shouts it in the telephone. Hi. That is what Mrs. Edista said in her statement as it happens. I think you'll find that cry was the killer impersonating Dr. Olaji. A simple explanation of the intercom by the door will make that immediately clear. Lucy, would you? This intercom here, Prof. This is the only way to contact the front desk from within the hut, eh? Yes, and if Dr. Olaji had indeed screamed for help on this intercom, something would be very amiss. Do you know what that is? Prints have been wiped off. It's because the fingerprints have been wiped off, isn't it, eh? Olaji would hardly have wiped off his own prints if it were in the middle of being attacked by a demon. Surely no demon would be concerned with wiping his victim's fingerprints away. I see nothing. No, it's pretty plain to see. The screen down intercom. Whoever it was knew he would be found out on account of the poor sound quality. And that's not all. There's evidence on the scene that contradicts the possibility that the demon broke out of the crate itself. Do you know what that evidence is? A crime scene that doesn't fit with Ariana's statements. Three crates were open. If the stone idol broke itself out of the crate it were in, then how come there's three crates with their lids off, eh? It's because... See, because the force is so much. I don't think so. I think the killer didn't know what was inside each crate. So he opened the crates one by one until he located the stone idol. Maybe the Diablo is making a person do these things for it. You just won't let this Diablo thing go, will you? Demons like that of which you speak do not exist. What do exist are humans with demons in their hearts. Who has the demonic heart in this case, Lucy? Why don't you enlighten us? Olaji's killer were you, Mr. Curiata. Muchacha, it hurt me very much you say this. If it's true and someone is taking the stone figure, why you think it's me? You have something evidence that I am killer? Certainly we do. Along with one other piece of evidence, 3 open crates heavily implicate you in this crime. Without additional evidence, the truth is blindly obvious. Hey, it is? Let me give you a hint. It has to do with the biscuits that you brought us as a gift, Mr. Coretta. Which crate contained the stone idol were written plain as day on the open page of this notebook. But despite that, the killer opened 3 of them before he got to that crate over there with the idol in. In other words, the killer can't read. that Mr. Coretta points the finger pretty well straight at you. We found your fingerprints all over the notebook, so we know without question that you saw what was written in it. But since you can't read, it didn't help you. You were none the wiser as to the location of the idol. C is true. Eh? You're fessing up? Just like that? You, Senor Layton, and you, muchacha, were very clever. You admit to the crime? See, I killed the senor. I put the axe in between his eyes. How could you do something like that, Grim? How? Something that grim, how? Because Senor Archie, you say he'd take the stone figure away. Even I give him a special liquor for my people. You don't listen to what I say. Is then when I know what to do, I hear the voice. A voice? See, the voice of the Diablo. Here we go again. I give you my power. Kill the one who trespasses in my temple, he says. So I do what the voice tells me. I leave the door of the hut locked, and I pass through the walls to be there no more. Is the power of the Diablo in me? Give over. You can't pass through walls. That just doesn't happen. See, and the way the dead senor, he moved, is the Diablo as well. Big Senor Sasukaza, he run away, shaking and screaming like a muchacha. It's very funny. What you describe is impossible. No, it's no possible to explain these things if you don't believe in this Diablo. Aye, it is. You could have taken the door off its hinges and... Is a telephone for you? I bet it'd be forensics. That were forensic, Prof, with their report. They've been over that hut door with a fine-tooth comb, they said. But there's no way the hinges could have been tampered with, apparently. They had adhesive on. You see. Apparently the owner saw a screw were missing a few days earlier, so he drowned the hinges in glue. Mr. Sasukasa's given a statement to that effect now. So, does that mean it can't have been Mr. Coretta that done it then? See. So, is it okay if I leave now? I still don't see the Buckingham Palace. And I have to buy some gifts for Mariana and everyone in my village. You're happy just to let him go like that, are you, Prof? Don't worry. We'll have a man on him. In any case, we can't detain him until we've solved the mystery. Aye, and we can't pin it on him while he's going on about this demon doing it, eh? No, we got to get to the bottom of this one. Yes, there are two remaining points that we can't explain. How Coretta managed to disappear from a locked room, and how, as we've been led to believe, the corpse came back to life. So it's back to the crime scene, you see, until we find some answers. Okay. So, where do we start? So where do I start? So let's start with walking corpse. It seems too incredible to believe, but there are two witnesses who saw the corpse lunge forward. Were it really a demon at work, do you think? No, that can't be. It was an elaborate illusion, I'm sure. Aye, that's got to be it, an illusion. And the person behind the illusion will almost certainly have left a trail of evidence, no matter how small. And that's what we got to find, right, Prof? This is surely going to be interesting. I fail to see how that evidence could explain how the corpse was made to move. No, sorry, I'll think again. Well, we're trying to figure out how the body moved. What one? That's the lid for this crate. Yeah, that's what I'm doing here, because there's nothing there that I could even pinpoint as a possible way that would have been able to cause there's one more spot. That's everything. That's literally everything. Find proof that it was an illusion. That's new evidence. That certainly points to the sort of illusion I'm thinking of. If I'm right, there should be another similar piece of evidence very nearby. Here, Prof, what do you make of these nicks in the beams up here in the rafters? They look like they were made by a thin rope or wire of some sort. Yes, very suspicious. Aren't they just? What do you think caused notches like these then, Lucy? It were the fishing line rubbing on the beam that made the notches. Come to the same conclusion. Somebody threaded the line over the beams and then pulled them with considerable force. And there must have been something heavy in the other end of the line to counteract the force of the pull. Of course, we all know what that was, don't we, Lucy? much more obvious answer, Lucy. Think again. Would it be the body? Well, it was a body tied to the end of the line, wasn't it? What else? D. The fishing line passed over the rafters and was tied to the corpse. That explains how the killer made something spectacular appear to happen, which was, of course, fishing line. No, that's not it, Lucy. Have another think. By tying the fishing line to Elijah's body and giving it a good tug at just the right time, the killer made it look like the fellow moved even though he were dead. Correct. Which solves the mystery of the walking corpse. Okay. Coretta claimed that he passed straight through the hut walls using some demonic power. But we all know that such things do not exist. Maybe not. But the door and window are off the table and all. So, just how did the lad do it then? Well, the hut was genuinely locked from the inside. It leaves only one possible conclusion. No? I got it! Elijah weren't killed inside the hut. He were done in outside it and then moved. But how did Coretta get out of the hut after doing the work inside? Oh, he passed through the walls? Let's try to think of another option, shall we? No. He allowed the axe in through the window and killed Elijah from the outside of the hut. It's a fantastic theory, Lucy, but I don't think so. Oh, what's wrong with it, Ted? Remember, the hut is on the edge of the cliff. There's a sheer drop outside the window. It would have been all but impossible to throw the axe with enough force and accuracy without a firm footing. I suppose you're right. We'll have to come up with some other explanation then. He would have had a duplicate key. No. There's no way Carter could have gotten hold of a copy of the key to the hut, is there? No, the lock is very unique. We're quite sure there's only one key. And that, of course, was found inside the hut, in the victim's own pocket, which rules out the possibility of locking the door and then throwing the key back in through the window. We'll have to come up with some other explanation then, eh? So he must have just hid himself inside the hut. After he hid Elijah in, if he did Elijah in, Coretta must have hid himself somewhere inside the hut. Very good, Lucy. I've come to that exact same conclusion. Aye, that must be it. But where could he have hidden in such a tiny place as that, eh? That's the key question now. Perhaps we can identify some traces of evidence to show where Coretta was hiding. Do you think? Well, that's where the idol was. I don't think that's relevant, Lucy. I'll have to be in I don't think he hid in any of these crates. Because these are full. I'm pulled to the side. No. No, he was inside the hut. He was inside the hut. There's got to be... This mark on the floor is a bit of an odd shape. I don't suppose it's related to where Covert hid himself, eh? It's an unusual shape, you're right. Looks like something must have been in the way of whatever spilled. So let's try to think what might have made the spillage take this kind of shape. That wouldn't explain why the mark left by this spilled liquor took on this unusual shape, though. Aye, that were it that made it spread out in such a straight line like that. Must have been one of these big signs. Must have been put here and got in the way of whatever spilled. Judging by their size and shape, though, None of them could have stood up alone. It would have been resting on something. Any ideas, Lucy? The sign must have been resting on a coat hook, on the coat hook. In that position, it would have been in a way of the liquor that spilled, making the stain take that particular shape. And such a large sign would be perfectly big enough to hide a person from view. So that's that, then. Coretta were in a hut the whole time, hiding behind the sign, eh? Let's have a think about when the liquor could have been spilled before we draw any conclusions. There's some liquor, it was great stuff. We called up to the hotel for glasses. Marianne brought them to us. Looks around the hut, but there was nobody inside except dark. It's dark, but there was nowhere to hide in there. I'm certain it was empty. People's liquor. That is the last time I was in the hut. I went straight home to bed. Night is when Diablos come. Might as well, the dead body got up and ran towards us. It knocked over the bottle on the table, so I knew it was not an illusion. It must have been when the dead fellow moved. He must have knocked over the liquor. That's what I had concluded. Which tells us that the sign must have been propped up on the hook at the point when the corpse moved. And someone must have put the sign back where after that happened. Precisely. The sign is the answer to the mystery of how the hut was locked from inside. Now we've explained how the door were locked from the inside and how the body moved when it were dead. Yes, and Coretta admitted himself that he killed Olaji. There's no way he can talk his way out of it now. So it looks like we've solved this one without you getting all, worked up. Yes. Well, that's a bonus. Right time to get Coretta back then, eh? Now we have all the evidence we need to prove Coretta is guilty. We'll pin him down properly this time. So how was your excursion to Buckingham Palace? There's no the sense to see inside, they say. It's a big problem for me. Mariana, she is looking forward to my pictures. I don't want to make her sad. That's why I climb over the fence. But the policia, you don't like this. He brings me back to you. By Ekprof, we're right to stick to detail on him. It seems so, yes. You don't need me. If it's okay, I wish to see more of your beautiful city. We do need you for Summit, Mr. Coretta. You see, we figured out how you did it. But I tell you already, I killed Susan Orlongi with the axe, and I am disappearing through the wall. I'm afraid they can't be. Demons cannot simply pass through the wall. If there's no truth, how can it be, Senior Layton? Allow us to take you through the events of that night one step at a time. It was your fake cry for help over the intercom that brought Mr. Sazakasa and Miss Edista. to the hut. When they got there, they found the door were locked. There can be no question about that. Absolutely. The one and only uncopiable key was in the victim's pocket. So, Mr. Suzuka was left with no choice but to break down the door to gain entry to the hut. Inside, he found only the grim corpse of Archaeology and no sign of his killer. See, it's like this, because already I am passing through the walls and leaving this place. I don't believe that's the truth. I believe the perpetrator of this crime is still inside the hut. Lucy, would you care to tell Mr. Carriera exactly where in the hut the culprit was? The killer were hiding in a corner of the room. Ay, muchacha. You don't listen when the senor. He say what he saw inside the hut, eh? He says there's no one inside but this corpse. No one, not a ja. That's not quite right. Mr. Suzuka said that he did not see the killer in the room. Though he failed to see the killer was in fact there inside. But thanks to a certain obstruction, it was hidden from view. Aye, an obstruction in the form of a sign. It were a whopping great sign. You propped the thing up against that coat hook on a wall and made yourself a nice little hidey hole. Mr. Suzuka's statement says he was sure no one else was in the hut because there was nowhere to hide. But it's precisely this preconception that meant he wasn't even looking for you. What do you say? It's just a guess, senor. You make up stories. There's no possible to confirm this what you said. I beg to differ. You were definitely hiding in the hut when Mr. Suzuka and Mr. Edista came in. We have a piece of evidence and a statement that proves it. Lucy, would you do the honors? Aye, it's the liquor that's spilled on the floor that proves it. The only way it could have made a straight line like that is if the sign were still in its way when it's spilled. And this Edison's statement confirms that the liquor was knocked over when the corpse lunged forward. That proves the sign was propped up against the coat hook when she and Mr. Suzukasa burst into the hut. See, so it's no way to say it's someone behind this sign just because it's there. Can you prove this? Oh, you cheeky so-and-so. And this means, of course, we know it moves, see? Or the liquor is no gonna spill. Is only the Diablo can make the corpse move. If that's your rebuttal, allow us to dispel the myth of the walking corpse now. Lucy, tell Mr. Coretta what the killer used to give the illusion of the corpse coming back to life. The killer tied some fishing line to Mr. Elijah's dead body. By giving it a tug from the other side of the room, it pulled the corpse up off the chair and made it lunge forward. No, you see these fishing lines, if they tied to the dead senor, you see them, and you know it's a trick. Not necessarily. Mr. Suzukaza said in his statement that it were dark inside the hut. Then, translucent fishing line in a dark room, and a corpse with an axe lodged in his skull. Faced with such a shocking spectacle, it would be very easy to miss the clear, thin line. You only imagine what you want. There's no evidence for this. What are you saying? Oh, we have evidence, all right. There's nets made by the fishing line in the rafters of the hut, and by considering the position of the notches, we can infer where the killer was standing to pull the line. So you see, we know the killer's location was. Following the lines from the body over the beams where the nicks are, you get to the corner of the hut. The same corner that were hidden from view behind the signs that were resting on the coat hook. It's compelling proof that the killer, in other words, you, Mr. Coretta, was hiding there behind the sign. I just feel like it's telling me to do like you were told. See, I hear it, the voice of the Diablo. She's telling me if I do everything like she tells me, it's all going to be okay. Oh, I've had just about enough of this Diablo mumbo-jumbo. It's no mumbo-jumbo, it's true. I hear the voice of the Diablo. This is taking too long. I can't hold it. Well. Prof! Oh, I believe you, Coretta. Oh, crikey, here we go. Demons are real, and all around us. You picked a fine time to turn up and start prattling. No, Lucy. Carefully led. The man can be a crazy killer. Yet without direction, nothing. You're a puppet. Puppet? You mean marionetta? Who you say is a marionetta? Talking about you. You steal and kill. All because of this demon voice. See, we must listen to the Diablo. If no, we're gonna make curse on our village. Idiot. Demons are illusions, living in the mind of the weak. Illusions have no power to curse. First you say demons exist, then you say they're illusions? Which is it, Prof? Make up your mind. Never mind, Lucy. You've obviously failed to understand. There's just one point we need to make clear. This Diablo's voice. Whisper in your ear, Coretta. That was no certainty. It was a human. A human that could see. Just a suggested murmur that intervening of yours, your persuasion is like logic. It's no human, it's Diablo! Surely you can see who it was now, Lucy. Who was the voice of the demon that spoke to Coretta. It were Miss Edista, weren't it? That's who the demon really was. She knew you better than anyone, didn't she, Mr. Coretta? You were behind the whole thing. No, it's no possible. The voice of the Diablo is no Mariana. Oh, but it was. It was Edista. The intercom was making her lodger's cry for help. It's true. I called to the hotel to make them come for senior lodging. This Mariana is picking up at the other end. But I don't know this. It's only by chance. You say the sound quality on the intercom was poor. And you instantly recognize the person you were speaking to as Edista. See, it's normal I know my novia. We're going to be marrying together. Oh, I know. Do you think she could tell the difference between her fiancé and a quinquagenarian? Your two voices would have been very different. Very different. You see, it's different. But I am making an imitation of you, senor. Tell me, Coretta, why are you here? Why, Edward? Why not? It's because Mariana, oh yes, of course, Mariana. She suggested you come in. She suggested it. Just when the investigation into the murder was being reopened. It's by chance. It's only by chance. You've seen my little crime scene reconstruction toy, haven't you? Collected the data for it is a pain. Takes a great deal of time. The original scene of the crime. There would have been a lot of activity. Would have been quite impossible for the causes of hotel staff not to get wind of what was going on. There's no Mariana. There's no her. She is nothing in this crime. Nada. Steady on, Prof. He's getting a bit. What? Something wrong? Somehow your voice isn't quite in line with the bravado of your masks anymore. Kalati, quiet. That's enough, Prof. You know it's true. You even blurted it out yourself when we unraveled all of your little tricks. If I do everything like she tells me, you said. No, please, no. You know the truth. You've known for some time. The demon's voice you've heard was the voice of your fiancée, Mariana Edista. She used you like a pawn in her devil's game. Oh, stop it now, Prof. Come on. Quiet, Lucy. Curses. I was just about to. That was just getting interesting. Is the Prof okay? Yeah, he'll be alright. Miss Six is looking after him. I reckon he'll wake up before long. Yeah, I were that worried. No sense worrying, Lucy. Nothing we can do. Anyway, don't you want to know what happened with the case? Oh, I don't know. I should probably be focusing on minding the Prof. But, do I ever? I knew you wouldn't be able to resist. Well, there's Coretta first off. The bloats his nut is a fruitcake. So, he ain't getting a fat lot of help with the investigation. I bet. Getting any new info out of him about is likely to be getting a promotion. So that left that Edith the bird. Well, the local law tried to find her to bring her in for questioning, but she was long gone, taking all her belongings and popped it. I wouldn't mind betting she were planning that from the start. Yeah, maybe. But that ain't all, you know. Turns out Edith were her real name at all. No one knows nothing about her. She's a total enigma. Give over, really? Oh yeah. She only turned up into the village there about half a year ago. And they were me thinking that she and Covert must have been childhood sweethearts. Hang on. So, are you saying Covert's only been learning English for 6 months? I suppose it must have been, yeah. That's some kind of black magic in itself, eh? And what's become of the stone idol? They ain't found it, have they? Edison must have made off with it. I don't know. The case is buttoned up, but not fixed. That's just how it goes sometimes, love. Anyway, let's be getting back to work, I suppose. Oh, I wonder how the prof's getting on. So I don't suppose he's thanking me for disturbing him just to ask him how he is. Oh yeah, just one more thing. Why, act dusty, you frightened the life out of me. Me Rev's in the clear now. Well, that's good. Yeah, he said thanks and that. Will you pass it on to Al? Aye, of course I will. I'll go and tell him right now. Well, there goes that. Alright, this is a 3-star difficulty. We're just going to move right on to the next one. Alright. Got a very special quest in the studio today, people. It's the drop dead gorgeous Miss Dolly Holiday. Thanks, Dwight darling. It's really terrific to be on the show. Here, I got you something. They're ever so tasty. Wow, thanks, Dolly. I didn't think this sort of radio were your cup of tea, Prof. You don't like this, do you? And you're not a fan of radio, Lucy? Oh, I've got naught against a catchy tune and some good banter, but this rubbish? No, not for me. There's something about the way that presenter talks. I don't know what it is. He's just smarmy. Sounds rather like you're a regular listener. Peep, peep, peep. That sounds like a fax coming in already. So, our first request this morning is from Miss Angelo Death. Probably the death of you. Whoa. Sounds like someone wants to turn DJ Dwight Dread into DJ Dwight Dead. Don't you go dying on me, Dwight. I'd never live it down. Well, if I'm about to sign off for the last time ever, Allow me to try one of your mouth-watering offerings first. That hit the spot. Oi! What's going on? Dwight, are you alright? Let's go into an ad break. Come on, quickly. The Grand Fardos sale is now on. No store has more or less, so get down to Days Bridge today. What's happening, Prof? Well, if it's some sort of practical joke, it's certainly very convincing. We've got a new case, boys and girls. A number just went down on the airwaves. Hey, what's up, Sniffer? Did you have your lugs to the wireless just now? That's where the action is. Are you talking about the radio presenter who sounded like he collapsed just now? What else? I'd say this is cold already. So, it weren't just part of the show then? Not in my book. It's a rub-out job. My gumshoe radar's been beeping like a car alarm the second it went down. Whatever you say, Sniffer. Hey, I'm telling you. They'll be on the blower asking you to do this snoop any second now. You may well be right. Turns out I'm on the mark. You guys will wrap it up with bows on for us, right? We'll do our best. Barring the whole incident being a practical joke, of course. You won't believe this! We've been that flooded with calls from anxious listeners of the show. Maybe there's something in it after all. Ah, crap. Time for action, snoopers. I'm gonna make a slug. Shoot over there to see what the score is. Excellent. You slug on over there, Sniffer. I'll get my report back to the clubhouse ASAP. Then it'll be up to you two to bring in the hoods. I can't believe if we're really a murder, can you, Prof? I don't know anything for sure yet, Lucy. But the signs are compelling. Sniffer's rarely wrong. He's a revelation, all right, that one. Indeed, though he has a tendency to get ahead of himself. I never thought I'd witness something. No, let me rephrase. I'd hear something like that with my own ears. It happened in a radio studio. They were broadcasting to the whole country when the DJ had a funny turn. There were 5 suspects, one of whom we hadn't identified. But despite the lack of information when being investigated, all we knew for certain was that we saw with... No, I've done it again. What we heard with our own ears. Never sent his report over. The radio presenter is indeed dead. By heck! So we're off for real then. I'm surprised it took them so long to confirm it. Broadcast was at rush hour, unfortunately. Police had some difficulties getting to the scene. Investigations are ongoing, but I'll tell you what we know thus far. I'm all ears, Prof, as ever. The incident took place inside the recording studio of a national radio station. The presenter of the show was that show was airing at the time goes by the name of Dwight Dredd. Two people were in the studio from the outside, the show's producer and the sound man. Just before going on air, a tea lady from the radio station cafeteria came into the studio with some drinks. But she didn't linger, eh? She left after she dropped off the drinks. After that, Dredd, the presenter, came into the studio along with a young singer and her manager. So now we're talking about when they actually went on air then. As soon as the show started, the guest singer gave the presenter a gift of confectionery. I'm more than a bit curious about what was in that gift. But before Dredd had a chance to sample the offering, something came in on the studio fax machine. It was a handwritten note that read, "I'll be the death of you." Send shivers down your spine, doesn't it? Believing the facts to be some sort of joke, Dredd continued with the show. Well, you would, wouldn't you? However, no sooner had Dredd put one of his guest treats into his mouth than he started to have difficulty breathing and collapsed on the floor. Understandably worried, the director called for a transmission break. He then sent the sound man to call for the emergency services. About 20 minutes later, police and an ambulance crew arrived at the scene, almost simultaneously. However, Dredd was already dead. 20 minutes? That's on account of the rush hour traffic you mentioned, eh? Yes, the radio station is very central in rush hour. That's about how long you'd expect to take. That's too long, that is. Poor bloke. And that really is all we know about the course of events at this point in time. So let's think about our suspects. Who we got? There are 5 of them. First, the young guest on the show, singer Dolly Holiday. It was her gift that Dredd put into his mouth just moments before he began to struggle to breathe. That's more than a lot fishy if you ask me. My money's on that last. Second is Holiday's manager, Melody Smith. Apparently she had an old friend of the deceased. Just a coincidence, don't you think? Third, the director of the show, Mike DeBonaire. There's nothing obviously suspicious about his involvement, though his relationship was stormy, which would give him a good motive, eh? Fourth, the sound man, a Mr. Randall Mann. He was the one who went to call the ambulance, which does put him under a certain amount of suspicion. It really is hard to believe the emergency services couldn't have taken that long to get there. And finally, there's the tea lady from the cafeteria who brought the drinks. She appears to be missing. No one has seen or heard of her since she delivered the drinks to the studio. You what, Prof? That's it then, surely? She's the killer and she's done a runner. Certainly not an unlikely hypothesis. However, we don't know enough about her yet. We need to see what our inquiries turn up on her first. I don't know, it's too fishy for my liking. So, those are the suspects. We certainly don't have much to go on at this stage. But, what's your hunch? Who do you think did it? I see. You're going to make me have a stab at it even though you admit we don't have enough info yet? Of course. I'm always telling you how important it is to pay attention to your intuition. So let's hear it. Then we'll get down to the real detective work. We're going to investigate the crime scene. This is the way I always do things. Okay, let's examine the scene of the crime then. Okay. I'll give you 5 minutes. Will that do? Aye, no probs. Okay. We're going to start with a window. Obviously, the fax machine is evidence. Toppled chair. Spilled tea. Broken cup. Because obviously, if there's spilled tea, there's obviously a broken cup. Alright. Let's take a look at the corpse. Handkerchief in his ass. And his wig that fell off. Okay, moving on to fighting glass, because that's obviously evidence. Alright. That still doesn't really give me much of a hint on who did what. Good. Let's hear what the baker finger of guilt is pointing at. Since her client with whom she was at constant loggerheads was a guest of the show. You know, I'm going to say this. Interesting. Why? It's just too fishy that she and Dredd were old friends, and what? She just happened to be there? Not likely. No, this were about setting old scores or something. Or a crime of passion, that kind of thing. You've certainly created quite a scenario just from the fact that she and the victim were old friends. I've always been good at spinning a yarn. Me. That wasn't a compliment, Lucy. No, considering the circumstances of Dredd's death, I don't think Smith did it. I believe the culprit to be Dolly Holiday. Give over. You don't really think she did it, do you? Oh, yes. Let's see. 43.6%? Sure of it. Alright! We got a lot of work to do! That's rubbish! Yes, well, there are simply too many pieces of the puzzle missing at this stage. That's not much of a number to go on, is it? It doesn't exactly inspire confidence, Prof. No, it's a fairly weak conjecture, but still, there are a number of questions I'd like to ask Miss Holiday. After all, she was right next to Dredd when he collapsed. I see, that's it, is it? Right, well, I suppose I'd best go and see if I can get in touch with him. Is this the mystery room or what? Miss Holiday, what are you doing here? One of your detectives fella told me to come. Did I say? Right little so-and-so he was. He threatened me, you know, so he pinched me and checked me in the elbows if I didn't come in. Alright, that sounds like our detective Sergeant Hogg. Yes, he's very sharp. Yep, that's the phone. So, what do you lot got up to here then, eh? Anything special? This is a special division of Scotland Yard where we investigate especially heinous crimes. Look, I don't know what's going on, but at the end of the day, all I want to know is if you're arrested or not. No. We merely wish to ask you a few questions to help us with the speedy resolution of the case. Oh no, officer. I never speed. That's ever so dangerous. I always stick to the speed limit, me. Let me try to explain. You are a witness, you see, Miss Holiday? Cross message from Sniffer. He says she's the one. Squeeze the canary till she squeals were his precious words. You know how he is. Hang on, that's not what you just told me, is it? Have I said something wrong? Allow me to reassure you. In truth, yes, you are under suspicion of perpetrating this crime. However, no one has yet concluded that you are indeed guilty. Would you be so kind as to cooperate with our investigation so as to clear your name? Well, if I have to. I have got better things to do with my time, though. You know what I mean? I think I came in halfway through something there. Still, looks like you've managed to calm her down now. Okay then. So first let's examine the body, shall we? We need to investigate the poison that produced death. I'm also particularly interested in the song request sheet that the victim read out moments before his death. Right then, let's get down to business. So, where shall we start? we're gonna start with Dread's body. Let's talk about the body, shall we? This holiday, you actually saw the victim die right before your eyes, didn't you? If there's anything at all that you noticed that seemed out of the ordinary, please do tell us. Yeah, whatever. I suppose I can try to remember. Okay. This is Mr. Dread's corpse here. Cause of death was poison. That's beyond dispute. What on earth is that thing on the floor next to him? It looks disgusting. Sorry, what are you referring to? You know, that shaggy woods in there. Wig, Prof. I always thought his hair were a bit too, healthy for his age. And all of them photos you see. No doubt I'll plot at portraying a young image to increase his popularity. Perhaps he needed to volumize. You think? What? Even on the radio? Wow. I had no idea he wore syrup. You had no idea? But didn't you see it come off? Nah, I saw him die. But he managed to keep his hair on for that. The wig never came off while I was there. Are you absolutely sure about that, Miss Holiday? I'm not gonna forget something shocking as that in a hurry, am I? You know what I mean? If what you say is true, why is that somebody took Mr. Dread's wig off after he died? Who would do something like that, eh? That's so hateful. We lack the information to answer that at present. Let's turn our attention to another matter for now. Hey, Ancient One. I got Twitch running. It seems they found traces of the poisonous substance used to kill Dread at the scene. Can you figure out where? Leave it to me, Prof. Yeah, that's right. He started looking iffy as soon as he put it in his mouth, to be honest. But look, Lucy. They've not found any trace of poison in the macaroons. You're right there. Nah, it's gotta be a mix-up at the end of the day. There must have been something in that macaroni. There can be no mistake. Even the very macaron the victim was eating contains absolutely no poison. Let's look around and see if we can find any traces of poison in some other evidence from the scene. Okay. That would be this. There's traces of poison in the tea here. As no other trace of poison were found on the scene, we can assume Dread was killed by poisoned tea. That's not what happened at all. Nah, he died after he ate me macaroons dinner. Macaroons, you say? Lucy, what do we know about these macaroons? Let's see. Yes. Here we are, the macaroons the victims were eating on air. Here's the file. Well, this is a little odd. No trace of poison was found in any of the macaroons. What are you on about? I saw it with my own eyes. He started coughing, and then straight after, he put the macaroon in his mouth. To be honest, he never actually took one sip of that tea. Are you quite sure? Personally, I think honesty is one of the most important virtues, so I wouldn't lie. Know what I mean? That would put you firmly at the top of the list of suspects, Miss Holliday. After all, you're the one who brought Mr. Dredd the aforementioned macaroons, are you not? What? I'm not getting behind bars, am I? We are talking about murder, Miss Holliday. You'll definitely go to prison for it, but I don't really like prison. Know what I mean? You don't like it, you say? Well, hang on a minute. Of course, it must have been Melody who did it. How is Miss Smith suddenly involved in all of this? Well, no disrespect or nothing, but it was my manager who actually purchased the macaroons for me. Oh, hi. Yeah, to be honest, I don't know nothing about the poison, so at the end of the day, it must have been her. You want to arrest her quick, you know? She's well scary. Always telling me what to do and what not to do. She is... I hate the miserable witch. I'm afraid, Miss Holliday, we can't very well go around arresting anyone and everyone you don't much like. Just a moment. Something we need to clear up here. Presumably at the point when you gave Mr. Dredd the macaroons, they were unopened. Of course they were. They were a gift, weren't they? So the poison would need to have been added after the wrapping was removed, sometime during the show. In full view of the victim, in other words. Well, obviously, that isn't what happened. That would have been totally impossible. So then we're back to thinking he were poisoned by his cuppa then, aren't we? But the tea lady that brought it to him has vanished into thin air. At this stage, the one thing we can be sure of is that the tea holds the key to this entire case. We should make sure we investigate the teacup as well as the tea it contains. Right away, Prof. This teacup's had it then. Presumably it fell on the floor when the victim collapsed. That's a Puka Royal Terulian teacup, that is, top quality. They cost a bomb. What a waste. We got some fingerprints off it too, Prof. But that's about it. There's something strange about this teacup, Lucy. Really, what? Let's see if you can figure it out. No, that's not what I was thinking, Lucy. Oh, something strange, you say? No. Really? So it has to be the fingerprints? Oh, it's the prints. There's no fingerprints from the tea lady that brought the drinks. Precisely. Glad you noticed, Lucy. Almost certainly somebody wiped the fingerprints from the cup after it was brought into the studio. No disrespect to you, but does anyone give a monkeys? I mean, at the end of the day, you can know who wiped them off, right? Miss Holliday is quite right. There's little point continuing on this line of investigation at the moment. Right then, I'll poke my nose in somewhere else then. While on air, the victim received a request for a song entitled I'll Be the Death of You. To be honest with you, I nearly had a heart attack when he keeled over. Seems highly likely we're the killer that sent the request through, eh? Let's examine the fact sheet that the request was written on and see what we can deduce. Here's the request sheet, Prof. I'm afraid it doesn't look very promising, nothing of note. Well, it allows us to confirm that it really was sent during the broadcast at least. Oh, there's no doubt about that. I saw it come in, didn't I? So, the killer were on the other end of the line then. Quite possibly. Let's examine the fax machine and see what we can deduce. This is it, Prof. The request sheet were sent in through the fax machine here. Looks like a regular machine to me, no signs of jiggery puffery. The sender's details are still present by the looks of it. Have Sniffer find out where it was sent from. Will do, Prof. We're still some way from being able to identify the culprit. Look, let's just say it was Melody and be done with it, okay? And we can't do that. Let's go over what we already know. First of all, where was the poison that killed the victim found? The poison were in the tea. How many times have I got to tell you the bloke never touched his tea? It can't have been the tea that killed him. I gotta say, Prof, I don't think she's lying about this. No, me neither. It's a very curious discrepancy. And not the only one either. There's another in Ms. Holliday's statement if you remember. What doesn't add up between the crime scene and the statement? What's the evidence that contradicts its statement? The victim's wig weren't on his head, but according to Miss Holliday, he still had the wig on when she saw him, which were after he died. Yep, I'm 110% about that. There's no way I could have missed it if he didn't have his hair on. Know what I mean? I don't believe Miss Holliday is lying. Nor do I. But who'd be that nasty that they'd do something like that to someone who... Hey up, that's the telephone. It'll be Sniffer, I bet. I'll take it, Lucy. I got a number of questions for him. So, how old are you then? I'm 22. You're joking. I'm 22. Talk about 1 in a million. I'm amazing. And that's important because... So, what's the scene? What's the score with you and Inspector Whitney? Inspector Whitey. You going out? Not likely. Oh, sorry. He's not a bad looker, eh? But that white gown's a bit of a disaster. And I don't know what he's on about half the time, to be honest. I think he might be a bit funny in the head. I can't deny the coat's a bit, well, the prop can see to the heart of any case just like that. There's not many fellows can match that. Oh, I get it. You fancy him, but he isn't into you, is it? Oh, give over. It's no such thing. Don't worry, your secret's safe with me. I'm the height of depression. I'm the height of discretion. I'll try and talk you up, alright? To be honest, I agree with ya. I think the older man's better at the end of the day. More mature in that. I keep telling you there's naught between us. It sounds like you two are having fun. Fun is not the word, Prof. Well, anyway, some new information has come to light. The song press fax was sent from inside the studio itself. No! How's that possible? One of our chaps was sent to check it out straight away. And he found the tea lady's body there. Well, there goes one of our suspects. What's this? What's this? Something happened, has it? We're talking about the same tea lady that we're missing. The one who brought the tea? Yes. So we've got 2 unsolved murders on our hands now then? Actually, no. Eh? According to the officer on the scene, there's evidence that the tea lady was indeed Dredd's killer. What kind of evidence? Come on, Prof, spill the beans. Firstly, they found the song request fact sheet that was sent to Mr. Dredd next to her body. Handwriting analysis has already confirmed it was the tea lady who wrote it. Oh. And on top of that, they found the poison with her too. The same poison used to kill Mr. Dredd. So, what are you saying then exactly? As I explained, the tea lady was the one who brought the tea that the victim drank. In other words, the tea lady was Dwight Dredd's killer. But if she were the killer, how come she wound up dead now? You know what this is, don't ya? It was suicide. At the end of the day, she'd done herself in, hasn't she? Turns out the tea lady was a huge fan of DJ Dee Dee. The theory is they must have had some kind of argument that sparked all this off. What? She killed him because she liked him that much? Yeah, I bet that's it. It's a proper case of hero worshipping, eh? Aye. Well, anyways, the case is closed. Oh, so I can go home now, can I? Terrific. Yes, you're free to go. Thank you for your cooperation. Alright then, we'll see you, darling. No, there's something niggling me. What? Can't get enough of me, eh? I do have that effect on people. No, niggling me about the case. Thank you, Miss Holiday. You really can go now. Ta-ra! See ya! So, that's wrapped up then. You can go home early if you like, Lucy. Prof, there's definitely something not right here. I mean, there's a gaping hole between the evidence at the scene and Miss Holliday's statement. Well, nevertheless, the case is now closed. But... Huh? Hi, Levick! Actually, there's something I was hoping to get done, so, we'll pick this up again tomorrow, shall we? Alright then, Prof. No, it's not right. Something's definitely amiss. Well, if the prof's off, I suppose I'll just have to figure this out on my own. Oh, Prof? Ah, Lucy, did you forget something? No, it's just... I can't get this case out of my head. I thought maybe if I had another look at the scene, I might be able to figure something out. You're just not willing to let it go, hmm? Anyway, what are you up to, Prof? Just a bit of investigating for fun. For fun? Hey, up! That's where the tea lady last were bumped off, isn't it? Yes, although I can't reproduce the entire scene now because the case has been closed. I knew it. I knew you wouldn't be able to let it go either, Prof. As it happens, I've uncovered some evidence to support Holiday's statement. Alright. So, what's this evidence you found that backs up Holiday's statement then, Prof? Well, Lucy, do you remember what was broadcast? What we were listening to together? I think I can remember the gist of it. The evidence is in the transmission itself. I've managed to borrow a recording of the show. Listen carefully to this now. We got a very special guest in the studio today, people. It's the drop-dead gorgeous Miss Dolly Holiday. Ta, Dwight. It's terrific to be on the show. Here, I brought you something. Ever so tasty. Wow, thanks, Dolly. That sounds like a fax coming in already. So our first request this morning is from our Mrs. Angel of Death? I'll be the death of you. Well, sounds like someone wants to turn DJ Dwight Dread into DJ Dwight Dead. Don't you go dying on me, Dwight. I'd never live it down. Well, if I'm about to sign off for the last time ever, allow me to try one of your mouth-watering offerings first. That hit the spot. Oh. What's going on? Dwight, are you alright? Let's go into an ad break. Come on, quickly. The Grand Faraday sale is now on. No store has more or less, so get down to Days Bridge today. Well, Holiday's laying it on too thick. Well, maybe, but never mind that. It just struck me, that's all. Okay, but ignoring that, there's a blatant discrepancy between the radio show and the scene of the crime. Can you get it? What's odd with the recording? What is odd with the recording? Alright, we're going to make some educated guesses. I see. And where's the discrepancy between that and what we heard on the radio? Lucy, the sounds we heard on the radio tell us what happened in the studio, but they also tell us what didn't happen. What happened? What didn't happen? Do you want to hear it again? Try considering some different evidence. To pick up on the sound of Dread collapsing, but there's another piece of evidence that I'm referring to. Oh, okay. Okay. Didn't hear cup breaking. There were a broken teacup at the scene of the crime, but no sign of a cup breaking on air. Precisely. You can clearly hear when Dredd collapses from his chair. and yet there's no sound of a cup breaking. So the teacup didn't break during the show, you mean? Almost certainly. And it's increasingly clear that Miss Holliday's statement is true. Dredd never drank the tea. If he had, it's highly likely that he'd have dropped and broken the cup as the poison entered his bloodstream. So, Miss Holliday's statement is the bona fide truth? Well, in that case, when did he drink the poison? And when did the cup break? If my hypothesis is correct, Dredd was given the poison after the show went off air. Eh? What? When the broadcast is finished, you mean? Yes, quite probably. So, even though he collapsed during the show, when it were on air, he had the poison after that? You got me right flummoxed now, Prof. Dredd collapsed on air after eating the macaroon given to him by Holiday. That's the point. I'm sure. And I'm getting further and further from it. Haha. Well, why don't we do some investigating in that area then? Oh boy. Okay. There's a clear discrepancy between the scene we see here and the state of the studio just after the show. It poses the question of why Dredd became physically distressed after he ate the macaroon. Why would eating a perfectly normal macaroon do that to him when he hadn't touched the tea? Quite, he hadn't had any poison at all, yet everyone around him mistakenly believed he died. Almost like he were just putting it on and pretending to die or something. That's exactly what I'm thinking. There's actually existing evidence at the scene that supports the idea that he was faking his own death. Yes, see if you can find it. Evidence, find proof of Dredd faking his death. It's not this hanky, is it? See what it says. Well, surprised? Bayak! He pretended to die, and he were going to use this hanky to show it. We're all a big joke. That's right. Dredd was trying to play a practical joke on Holiday and everyone else in the studio. So it made it look like he was in pain as soon as he took a bite of the macaroon. After he pretended to collapse, however, he drank the poisoned tea and really did die. Once that poison took hold of him, he would have keeled over with a fair wallop, eh? It's an absurd ending to the whole affair, but there's a considerable chance that is what happened. A considerable chance? It's more like a dead scent, if you ask me. Or dead cert, if you ask me. It would greatly narrow down the possible suspects. Eh, do you know who done it now, Prof? Do you? I have someone in mind. But before we pick out the culprit, let's just take some time to investigate the death of the tea lady. Oh, I've been itching to look into this. So, I'm getting close to ending this here. So, let me fill you in on the tea lady who was found dead. Her name was Annis Brewer. She worked at the radio station cafeteria. She was a huge fan of Dredd, and several people say they remember seeing the pair chatting at times. Were they involved then? We have reason to believe that they were, yes. Although there's little evidence to actually back that up. Well, both of them dead. There's no one can tell us for sure, I suppose. Now let's turn our attention to the room where Brewer's body was discovered. It was a storeroom, not a minute's walk from the studio. Right next to it were it? Hello? Or right next to it were it? Telling? It seems the storeroom is just that, and staff rarely have cause to go insane. It's apparently kept unlocked, though, so anyone can get in there should they want to. So Brewer went in there to hide after she took the drinks into the studio? That seems most probable. What we need to figure out then is what went on in that room. I've managed to obtain additional statements from all suspects about their movements after Dredd's death. Have a look over them, Lucy. Will do, Prof. That's all the new information we have on this stage. So, I can finally have a look at this storeroom then, can I? The question really is whether Brewer committed suicide or was murdered. Let's see for ourselves, shall we? Alright, we're gonna exit here. Alright. I'm gonna end it here. For one, I'm getting tired. So, before I fall asleep on this, find somebody to raid. Ouch. I think we're going to raid Twain. He's doing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. He's no longer students of gaming anymore. He's gaming council. Alright. Alright. So we're going to raid Twain. Give him a like and a subscribe. Are you set up? And we are out.